What's the song that is played where everybody is on the chair, everybody going to my mind's going blank now. What's happening? What, I can't remember. I'm gonna lose track. My mind's going blank now. What are you talking about? What the hell's going on here? Where the hell are we? My mind's going blank now. I can't remember. I don't know what the hell he's talking about. What am I doing here? My mind's going blank now. Where am I headed? I keep forgetting I'm president. Where am I? No idea. Last night I was on television. I was on a telephone rapidly rising and with I don't know. COVID has taken more than 100 years. Look, here's lives reflected in the NHEI. America is a nation that can be defined in a single word. I was going to put him in we're going to seize the ill-begotten gains of Putin's kleptocracy. NATO's purpose is to defend against aggression. Let me make that near and dear to you that you like to be able to. Anyway, my mind's going blank now. What's happening? What, I can't remember. I'm gonna lose track. My mind's going blank now. What are you talking about? What the hell's going on here? Where the hell are we? My mind's going blank now. I can't remember. I don't know what the hell he's talking about. What am I doing here? My mind's going blank now. Where am I headed? I keep forgetting I'm president. Where am I? No idea. I don't think as the idea that the political coverage of I want to thank and recognize Dr. John Kingersong. Good song. I can't get this to function at all. My mind's going blank now. What's happening? What, I can't remember. I'm gonna lose track. My mind's going blank now. What are you talking about? What the hell's going on here? Where the hell are we? My mind's going blank now. I can't remember. I don't know what the hell he's talking about. What am I doing here? My mind's going blank now. Where am I headed? I keep forgetting I'm president. Where am I? No idea. No idea. No idea.
Welcome to the Sunder the Sky podcast. I am your host, Christopher Sky-Sunderer, coming to you from my fortified bunker deep beneath the streets of Kent, Ohio, in the People's Republic of America, the once and future United States of America. It is Saturday, October 15th, 3:15 a.m. The challenge to you, my listeners, is figuring out whether that's the time I wrote these notes, recorded this episode, figured I'd be editing the episode, started uploading this episode, or predicted it would complete uploading. The answer? Yes, it's one of those. So why am I here this morning? What's the message today? Well, this is goodbye. Don't worry, it's not a goodbye between us, you and I, dear listener. Certainly not a goodbye between myself and my fellow Sunderers. This is a goodbye between me and this commie mob bolstering, reality denying, propaganda promoting, child trafficker defending horseshit platform known as YouTube. As I kind of mentioned in a previous episode, this has been a long time coming. I feel like it's been coming since the show launched back in 2019. YouTube, Google, Alphabet has been fucking with me so long. I mean, they were on me right away. Literally started throttling me, hitting me with notices, shadow banning me, blocking me from my own account, etc. from the very first episode. And I still honestly don't know how that's possible. I mean, I have theories, but it's not like I'm Gavin McInnes. I have had a tiny little internet presence as an independent ANCAP voluntarist blogger and a ghostwriter for copblock.org going back to about 2012. But, I mean, somehow I caught their attention. I mean, okay, I know Jeff Berwick. Okay, I know Josie Wales. Christopher Cantwell is somebody I know. Man. Jeffrey Tucker. I can't account for, hell, Adam Kokesh. I mean, I know these people personally. I don't know any of them well. It's not like we're buddies. It's not like we chat on the phone or anything. They're just people I know and who know of me. That's it. Is that really? Could that really be why I'm so much on Google's fucking radar? Because I mean, it's been like they've been here in the bunker with me. Every time I upload something, instantly, there's something wrong with this. And I mean, somehow I just caught somebody's attention over there at the good ship Teraflop, such that this video channel has been an uphill battle the entire time. Actually, these two video channels. Remember that for episodes 14 through 25, I was shadow banned from my Google account, so I had to start another channel to upload those. And that was before finally getting access to this account back. That alternate channel is the one actually called Sunder the Sky on YouTube. This one, the original, is called Christopher Sky-Sunderer. It's all gotten a bit messy anyway. That's not why this is happening. Me leaving, I mean. And this channel will still be here for as long as they allow it, because this is where most of my subscribers are. In fact, I think everybody at the alternate YouTube channel is just people from here, so listen to me very carefully. All of you. Okay? Go to Rumble. And I don't just mean my subscribers, and I don't just mean for me. I mean everyone for everything. The reason you keep coming back to this bullshit site is just because you're familiar with it. So it's less brain power to use. You're literally not even thinking about it. Bite the bullet. Invest the requisite couple of weeks of use it's going to take to get similarly comfortable with Rumble's interface, and make that your go-to platform. That's what I've done. You can do it too. And remain flexible. Okay? Rumble could be the next YouTube in the bad way as well. So keep your shoes on. Don't settle. It's the internet, guys. Moving involves a few clicks. It's not loading up a wagon train and braving the wild frontier to homestead in untamed lands. From here on, the only thing you're going to see on this YouTube channel, whenever a new episode drops, is a short little video saying, hey, the new episode is up on Rumble. Link in the description box. And why even do that much? Well, because so many of you still haven't left here. I share links to new episodes on YouTube, and click, 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 click. Everybody goes and watches. I share links to the same episode on Rumble, and you ignore it. You know why? Here's why. Because it's not the familiar red of YouTube, it's the new and unfamiliar green of Rumble, and that's it. That's the whole reason. It's conditioning. It's conditioning. And we all need to break it. But you might ask, I announced all this moving to Rumble stuff months ago. Why circle back to it now? Well, first, because now it's actually happening. Back when I last uploaded an episode, if you remember, it was the one about the live performance Pfizer commercial at the Oscars. That was 6 months ago. Where there was the fake slap, fake thrown by Will Smith to be fake taken by Chris Rock, fakely, over what Rock fake said about Jada Pinkett's probably fake alopecia haircut. Gotta move that new drug, right? Because nothing Pfizer ever does is a shameless money grab, and legendary pillars of virtue and truth, Will Smith and Jada Pinkett would never participate in cheap theatrics for money. What do they do for a living again? Something to do with lifestyle cuckoldry or something? I don't know. Anyway, yeah, it's been a while. When I recorded that episode, I was still suffering, first of all, from the lingering, hacking, unproductive cough from last winter's bout of the Fauci flu. Sorry, the Hong Kong flu. Sorry, I mean Hacky Chan. Sorry. I know that's offensive. Let's just call it what it is. Me Chinese, me play joke, me put virus in your throat. Yeah, that made it tough to record. I mean, I couldn't go more than a sentence without a coughing fit until, like, April. But I can hear you observe, because you're the kind of lunatic who argues with voices from the past in podcasts and radio shows. It's okay. You know, so am I, and you were very welcome here. I didn't come back in April, did I? Nope. Look, when I got started with this show anyway, I had 3 rules for the show. 2 of which I told you about on that first episode. The 3rd I left unspoken. It was just kind of my own rule for me. But I will speak it now. So, refresher. Rule number 1. I told you that episodes would be as long as they needed to be to say whatever it was I had to say. Sometimes that would be 5 minutes, sometimes 3 hours. But there would never be like a standard length or even a format for the show. It's whatever the message of the day calls for it to be. Okay, whether that's long-form commentary, you know, Glenn Beck or Mark Levin style, or me singing a parody song about the case against Trump, you know, riffing off of If I Only Had a Brain from The Wizard of Oz. Whatever it needs to be, okay? Rule number 2. I will always tell you the truth as I see it from the bottom of my heart, and I will never avoid saying anything just because it's polite to do so. Which, newsflash, okay, that's all politically correct means, is polite. So they're literally passing laws of politeness. Look up the etymology of both terms, political and polite. The root word is polity. Okay, look it up. The truth is never polite. It doesn't seek to be polite or impolite. It doesn't seek to be politically expedient or inexpedient. It is simply the truth. It's on us to deal with what the truth is. It is not on the truth to change to suit our feelings. And the 3rd rule, the unspoken rule. This was just my own kind of inner guideline. I won't weigh in on an issue without hitting the center of my UIL Venn diagram. Okay? To explain, yes, I have an internal kind of a Venn diagram in my head for this show. Specifically, it's like a matrix I use for, it's a filter. Okay, it's for deciding whether an episode or topic that I have an idea for is worth doing at all. So like, should I do an episode about this? Well, let me run it through this filter. That filter is a Venn diagram. I call it UIL. The U stands for unique. Do I have a unique take on whatever the topic or current event or whatever it is? Do I have something to say that you aren't already hearing from a dozen other sources? Now, incidentally, the answer to this one is almost always yes. Sad as it is to say this, most of what constitutes conservatism, or even just non-leftism, is still very mainstream and still endeavors to a dangerous fault to couch itself in polite and non-confrontational language. And as I've already said, that's very problematic. Okay, non-confrontational, politically correct, polite language is language I have no interest in using myself. So automatically, I'm not asking, as Steven Crowder, here's what I think, change my mind. People without functioning minds, namely most of mainline society today, are not going to change mine on anything. And look, they don't need another friend on the right reaching out to them. Least of all on the left. Yes, they are our brothers and sisters. Okay, every leftist, their soul is sibling to your soul. But they are not your countrymen anymore. Here in this realm that we are physically occupying right now, they're not on your side. And they don't need another friend on the right reaching out to them. They need slapped in the face and put in their place. As I said, these are not your countrymen anymore. There are at least 2 countries here. These people are your jailers. They are not forcing you into a cell or onto a train yet. But what they are doing is encircling you, daring you to step across their line, and constructing the cell around you, brick by brick and bar by bar, with each new measure, each new inconvenience for the greater good, with each passing media event and quote-unquote news story. Being polite allows them to do that. That's not crossing that line that they're daring you to step across. You won't cross it. And so their work of constructing the cell around you goes unimpeded. As for you, the non-leftists within the sound of my voice, I will issue a Crowderian challenge. Any of you can pick this gauntlet up. I'll even have you on the show to take it up with me. Ready? Here it is. Slippery slopes are not a fallacy when dealing with the left. Mobs cannot be appeased with arguments. And in the era of a fourth turning, such as the era we find ourselves in now, discourse with the effectual weak men is nothing more than distraction, serving of and subject to said weak men's ultimate interests. You know, the fourth turning. Strong men create good times create weak men create bad times. We are now in the fourth turning. We are in the bad times created by weak men. Discourse with said weak men only serves their interest. It is, as Ayn Rand observed, any compromise between food and poison is only to the interest of poison. Any compromise between food and poison is poisonous. So there it is. Here's my challenge. Any of you can take it up. I'll even have you on the show to get into it with me. Slippery slopes are not a fallacy when dealing with the left. Mobs cannot be appeased with arguments. And in the era of a fourth turning, discourse with weak men is nothing more than distraction, serving of and subject to said weak men's ultimate interests. Change my mind. Number 2. The I of the UIL Venn diagram that determines whether I'll do an episode on something stands for interesting. Do I have a unique take that anybody's going to be interested in hearing? I am my own harshest judge on this one. I don't think, if I don't think what I have to say is going to contribute any value or any perspective to anyone's view of a particular whatever, event, topic, then I don't record it. Plain and simple. This metric and the next one are the two halves of the issue I've been having with even doing the podcast at all anymore for the last several months. Now, this issue can be summarized in 2 ultimately related questions. Why am I doing this? And is this helping anyone? There's a major, major problem with having a show at all. And this is true of anyone who podcasts. It's a problem in the sense of, the kind of problem that you solve. And it's also a problem as in it's a direct threat to your own well-being. Okay? And those 2 questions address this. Why am I doing this? And is it helping? The short answer for me is that I wasn't doing it for the same reason anymore. Reasons. And I realized that. The reasons that I started the podcast was, one, to have more reach than my blog has. And it was to be more personable than my blog. I mean, you're actually hearing my voice now, not just reading my words. And those two things help each other. Okay, this more personable approach extends the reach. Okay, and this is all pursuant to the real ultimate goal, which was simply to be of use to you, to people who needed to hear stuff like this. The last few episodes, though, actually every episode since the Biden installation, not including the Fresh Prince Pfizer episode, but, you know, all the others since Biden took office, and I do mean took, haven't been for that. They haven't been just to be of use to you. Anger has always been one of my motivations here. Anger at what's happening in the world has always motivated me, sure. But for all of the Biden era episodes, again, except that last one, anger was the only motivation. I'm pissed off about this, and I'm going to scream into this mic and fuck anything else. It's literally it. Anger and dopamine. Yep. Dopamine. Same reason you log into Facebook all the time. Same reason I do. It gives you a really nice hit of the stuff when you see that view count going up. When you see people sharing your stuff, commenting on it, complimenting you, thanking you. It makes you feel important. Makes you feel big, recognized, idolized? Oh, there it is. Now, folks, I am by no means a net celebrity or even a recognized vlogger, but I do have a meager following. And this character, Christopher Sky-Sunderer, framing device for the show, is he becoming... Am I an idolater? Christopher Sky-Sunderer is literally this all-seeing, thunderbolt-hurling entity in the sky. And he's me. And the moment I started podcasting just out of anger and just for the feedback, the dopamine hits of seeing likes, seeing subscribes, seeing shares, it went too far. It stopped being funny. It stopped being cute. It stopped having meaning. It became idolatry. Something to take my eyes off God. And I made it myself. My golden calf was digital and sapphire blue, but it was every bit the same sin. Look, you know those idiots in the Church of Satan who say, oh, we're actually atheists. We just use the whole satanic thing to troll Christians. Right? But we're atheists. What we really believe is you are your own God. We worship ourselves. Guys, that's what Satanism is. It's worship of yourself. It's trying to do what Lucifer is trying to do, which is to become God. It's saying, I don't need God anymore, I'll be my own God. That's all it is. Luciferians like the Clintons, like the Podestas, Marina Abramovic, they're not seeking to worship Lucifer and serve in his kingdom. They're seeking simply to follow his example and establish their own kingdoms. Be their own gods. That's all it is. For what it's worth, I see it. I'm catching it early. I see that this is starting and I'm stopping. Nipping it in the bud. Now, I'm doing this, like I said, nipping it in the bud before I'm wearing Sunder the Sky merchandise everywhere I go and conducting every podcast as if I'm literally the show's mascot and not just Christopher Laurie, some asshole ANCAP from Ohio. I'm even going to reharness what I set out to do with it in the first place with a new project that's coming up later this month that will put Christopher Sky-Sunderer back where he belongs in all his glory, humor, and irony, but firmly rooted in the realm of fiction. Like I say, where he belongs. A framing device for the show and a delivery mechanism for a very long and extended metaphor. We'll get to that later. But doing this, I feel, will also revitalize the podcast back to what I originally intended. Something useful that you'll enjoy hearing. Not just something you're staying up to date with when you have time, but something you're going to look forward to. Anti-propaganda. Like I've said before, the purpose of propaganda is to be ridiculously obvious and overt in the interest of making you feel isolated and alone. And guys, they're everything the politicians are saying right now, everything they're doing is propaganda. This whole who me, no, we're just humble public servants, we didn't steal an election, we're not just running a money laundering operation in Ukraine, all of this, that it's propaganda. The fact that they're even pretending they're not doing what we all know they're doing is itself propaganda. It's ridiculously overt, obvious fiction in the interest of making you feel isolated and alone, because what is unspoken about all of that act is they're daring you to say something. Go ahead, say it's not true. See what happens. We'll unleash our mob on you to go after your livelihood, to go after your family and your friends, to destroy you. Well, this new project that I've got coming up later this month is going to be anti-propaganda. It is also intended to be ridiculously overt fiction, but in the interest of showing you definitively that you are absolutely not alone, and that we do, in fact, all see what these fucking people are doing. We all see what's happening here. I see what's happening here. You see what's happening here. Let's continue seeing what's happening here together in a way that we can have a little fun with. The happy warrior cannot be a happy warrior if he cannot fight his wars happily. So that, right there, that is how I can be of use to you going forward. And I recognize that now. I see it. Not just telling you the truth anymore, but making it fun by making fun of it. And that project is going to be in addition to the occasional good old-fashioned commentary episode. I'm sure I'm going to do those as well. Okay? But again, we'll get more into that later. Number 3, the L of the UIL Venn diagram stands for longevity. It stands for lasting. Will this episode stay up? Or will it just get taken down because they don't like what I had to say? Well, my pedigree chums, we are now there. UIL. Okay, you and I, useful and interesting, overlap quite a bit, I've found. I can admit that. More than I've assessed to be the case very often. Like I said, I'm my own harshest critic on that. If I'm not really sure that at least some of my listeners might actually want to hear what I have to say on something, I won't do an episode. So a lot of the time, those two don't overlap, even when they really should. But that last one, L, will the episode stay up? Will it last? That circle on the Venn diagram rarely comes within a country mile of the other two. I mean, I really mean this, guys. For every episode I've done, okay, every episode that you've heard, there are at least 5 I didn't do, on the simple reason that there's no way it even passes the processing stage of uploading. So it just won't be worth the work. And getting useful, interesting, and lasting to overlap, at first it was like threading a needle. Then it was like threading a needle in a hurricane. Then it was like threading a needle with a hurricane. You know, like throwing the thread and the needle into the wind at just the right angle so that, you know... Anyway, some time ago, it officially became impossible. I just can't do it anymore. We have reached the point where UIL has become like Hollywood's FGC. Okay, to explain, in filmmaking, there's a principle called FGC, or fast, good, cheap. The fast, good, cheap matrix. The principle is that you can, at most, only accomplish 2 of those things in making a movie. It can be good, and we can do it cheap, but it won't be fast. It'll take time. And it can be cheap, and we can do it fast, but it won't be good. And we can do it fast and have it be good, but it won't be cheap. And that is where the world has gone vis-a-vis my UIL principle. I can have something unique to say, and it can be of interest to my viewers, but on YouTube, it just won't last. It won't stay up. There's no way. I've seen this happen way too many times. As far as the other 2 options, well, I could do something unique that will last, or I could do something that you want to hear that will last. But sorry, I'm just not willing to sacrifice interesting or unique for lasting, just to make sure lasting is on there. And so I have to leave. I cannot stay on YouTube. I just can't. I wanted to stay here. I wanted to keep fighting the good fight, and I guess I will, because when I do upload a new episode, there will be a video on here. It'll say, hey, the new episode's up on Rumble. Link in the description. Rumble is the new home of Sunder the Sky officially. That will remain true for as long as Rumble remains true. I'll have an official announcement about this upcoming project that's coming out later this month. I've talked about it a few times here. I'll have an announcement about that within the next week or so. So stay tuned on Rumble. Stay tuned on Rumble. And yeah, I'm banned from Facebook until sometime in November for something I said 3 years ago. So please share this link. And here's something you won't hear from any other YouTuber. Please like and unsubscribe from this channel. Go to Sunder the Sky on Rumble and subscribe over there. Link in the description box below. Everything is moving over there now. All previous episodes, even good news, the ones YouTube took down, will be uploaded archive style over there on the Rumble channel. I may even start a second Rumble channel. I don't know, call it like Sunder the Sky Archive or some such, for those old STS episodes, just so they're still available. I'll let you know. Thank you for bearing with me these last several months, guys, as I've, worked all this out and gotten my head straight on what I'm doing here. I appreciate your patience. I wasn't sure I was even going to come back, but I think I found something I can do that will be of use to you. Something that'll get back to what I originally intended, both for the show and for the character of Christopher Sky-Sunderer. And I think it's going to be great. I think it's something you'll look forward to. This will be on a regular basis, and I think you're going to like it. So, we'll talk again soon. Thank you.